How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about SOS and EBON. Both of these stocks had a strong day inside the market. But hey, I won't take up any more time. Let's get into the agenda. Also, if you are new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below in the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're considering taking a position, I suggest you watch the entire video. So the first thing that we're going to be going over, of course, is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action for both of these stocks. We see that they're on a run and we want to see where those areas of resistance are, because when we see those areas and they do get past, then we usually see some strong moves that follow. And the second thing we're going to be taking a look at is actually the short interest information for both of these stocks. I didn't see any big time updates in regards to institutional ownership, so that's why it's part of the reasons why I did not cover it in this video. But hey, we'll see what it looks like for tomorrow. Then when all of that is done, I'm also going to be doing the order flow distribution. You guys are aware and you know what that's all about. We want to know who's buying, who's selling, what's making up most of the volume. Then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. So let's get into it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SOS. So let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $3.80, being up 16.56% on the day. On the low, it tested $3.37, and then on the high, testing $3.83. So before we get started, you can tell by my voice I'm very excited right now. Let's take a look at how it lines up with our indicators. So right now it is below the 200-day. It has reclaimed back to the 100-day and it's riding strong well above the 21-day EMA. If we take a look at the RSI down below, you already know, yes, it is hot right at 69. It is in that overbought territory, but do keep in mind this is a stock that has been beaten down for quite some time, and it looks like it's going to be setting up for a nice reversal. So what we want to see is actually a move getting to the 200-day. That's right, at $4.52. If it doesn't happen this week, I'm looking for it sometime next week or before mid-June. We already know we have a resistance area here right at that $4 level. Once we can pass this level, I'm seeing a bullish move to the upside. Do keep in mind of the fact, if it does pull back, we're seeing increasing levels of support. So currently it seems like there's 339 to be exact, to 337 where it pulled back. But you know what, let's just call it around that 340, 339 area. So if that pulls back to that particular area, then do know we're looking for it to actually hold up. It is shown to be a support area in the past, so it'll be great to see this continue. If this does continue, then there's no doubt in my mind we should be able to test the fours. So that's what I wanted to update you guys on. So we're on Fintel. We're going to be taking a look at the short interest information for SOS. There hasn't been any recent updates in regards to institutional ownership, so this is part of the reasons why we're just covering the short interest. So for the short volume ratio, it stands at 11%, and this is taking into consideration the close of May the 26th, which was yesterday. If we take a look at the short shares availability, it stands at 400,000, and the short borrow free rate is at 9.92%, and of course updated 25 minutes ago. Taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we've also uncovered the fact that, hey, it has been going down, and even seeing it right at 11, that means there's actually good market sentiment for SOS. So there's not a lot of skepticism around this stock, and where it's currently priced, the market is saying, you know what, hey, this is fair, this is okay. Because we know if it was 21% or higher, then not only does it have short squeeze potential, but also we got to keep in mind it also has negative market sentiment. So the fact that there's no negative market sentiment, looking at the current price of where it's at right now, that means we could still see some more moves to the upside with more volume and more demand for shares. So that's what I want to make sure you guys are updated on and you're well aware of. Now we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution for SOS. So as we can see here, as far as on the inflow, we had 36, and on the outflow, we had 42. As far as for inflow, we had 1 large order, 25 medium orders, and 11 small orders. On the outflow side, we had 1 large, we had 29 medium, and we also had 12 small. And if you take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see here as far as for May the 27th, it was negative 110 on the outflow side. But do keep in mind, we ended up seeing some strength in price action. So what does this tell us? There were many people who were buying SOS stock, and they are continuing to hold the stock. But we also have people who are buying shares, and also the ones who are holding, they're also adding to their positions. So keeping this in mind, it comes down to supply and demand. If a lot of shares are bought and people are holding it, what does that do to the supply? It reduces it. If they start buying even more, I want to make sure you guys really understand that. That's why I'm breaking this down. This is why, even though the selling pressure was high and the outflow was higher, this tells you already, as far as for upside, there's still more room for SOS to actually grow, and it's part of the reasons why I talk about it on this channel. Let's move on to the next section. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis on EBON, which ended up having a fairly strong day. It ended up closing at $3.08, being up 3.01%. On the low, it tested $2.93, and then on the high, testing $3.14. So before we get started, how is it lining up with our indicators? So it is well below the 200-day. It's also below the 100-day, but look at this. It's continuing this bullish pattern above the 21-day EMA. We want to see a reversal here. If we take a look at the RSI, of course, it is getting kind of hot, getting close to 70, so it is getting close to that overbought territory. But do keep in mind of the fact this is a stock that's been beaten down for quite some time, and we're looking for a recovery. We see that the market is showing a lot of strength, especially for this week. Is that going to be continuing tomorrow? We're going to have to wait and see. If it does, I'm looking forward to seeing more progress from EBON as well. Now, what we do know for a fact, we need to take into consideration areas of resistance. So we definitely have an area of resistance here right around this $3.20 level. Also an area of resistance here around 351, and of course having this area of resistance at 4. If we're able to actually continue to build up levels of support and pass these resistance areas, then we can look forward to seeing a strong move in this stock. And I want to make sure it's something that you guys are aware of. As far as where it pulled back to, yes, it did pull back to around 293, but do keep in mind of the fact we already talked about, hey, the bottom for EBON was around 250. We also took a look and we said, hey, we saw around 270, 265. Now we're seeing it. We was here, it tested at $2.93, right around that 290. So what we want to see, these levels of support continue. So what we want to see is $3 being that area of support that holds up. If you could hold that area up, then we should be able to hit $4 before mid-June, or maybe even in the first week of June. But hey, we have to be patient and wait and see what the market actually gives us. And of course, if we get any news or any updates, this can have an impact on the stock as well. So we're now on fintel.io. We're going to be taking a look at the short interest information for EBON. So the short volume ratio is at 11%, and this is taking into consideration yesterday's close. So what does this mean? Hey, overall good market sentiment for EBON. It is not negative. Short shares availability stands at 2.6 million, and the short ball free rate stands at 1.79%. If we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could definitely see that it is declining, which is good to see. Like I said, this means it just has better overall market sentiment. So we could still end up seeing some moves to the upside when there's a lot more buying pressure and there's a lot more demand for EBON shares. I want you guys to really understand that just because it's not 21% or higher, it doesn't have any short squeeze potential, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have room to actually move up. So just taking all that into consideration, I feel like maybe they drop some more news, or we end up seeing more strength in the market as far as recoveries, especially in the crypto sector, that we could definitely look forward to seeing EBON benefit from. Now now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for EBON. So as you can see here on the inflow side, we have 5,949, and then on the outflow side, we have 5,615. As far as for the inflow, we had 593 large orders. We had 3,250 on the medium side and 2,106 on the small side. As far as on the outflow side, we had 0 for large. For medium, we had 3,098, and for small, we had 2,516 or 2,516. So inflow definitely did beat out outflow for today. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, taking a look at May the 27th being at 592.78, and also seeing the prior days on May the 26th and May the 25th, the inflow has been greater. So taking this into consideration and seeing the amount of inflow that's been going on with EBON for the past 3 days, this tells us, hey, there's an opportunity here. No one's not going to be dropping their money and loading up on this stock if they don't see a potential return on their investment. So now what we want to see is more moves to the upside for EBON. And there's no doubt in my mind we're going to be seeing that, especially with the behavior we have been noticing since we've been covering EBON on this channel. Now let's get into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for SOS and EBON, it was definitely great seeing a green day in the market for both of these stocks. It looked like SOS was really trying to get to that $4 level, which we know that's an area of resistance, but once it goes there, I can see a strong move to the upside. We also do got to keep in mind there was increased volume, there was increased buying pressure. So with seeing this, I can only imagine what things are going to be looking like, especially for next week. Yes, we have Friday coming in tomorrow. I won't be surprised if we see a lot of consolidation or a little bit of downward pressure, but of course I'm looking forward to actually go to $4 as far as for SOS. As far as for EBON, I want to see it being able to hold up that $3 area of support and then essentially getting to $4. Is that going to be happening tomorrow? It all depends. If it gets a catalyst on some sort of news, maybe, but I am going to be looking forward to that before mid-June, and I think it's very possible here. Another thing that we have to take a look at as well, as far as when we took a look at the short volume ratio, it has gone down for both of these stocks, being at around 11. So as far as for the market sentiment, it is actually good. They're looking at the current price of value and they're like, you know what, there's not too much room to actually short it. There are some who are also interested due to the fact it is at 11%, but is not as high from what we have seen in the past when it was well above 21% for both of these stocks. So that's what I wanted to update you guys on for today, and we'll be talking real soon.